right, well, good evening, everyone. This is exciting, getting set for the first ever edition of Greensboro College Athletics Live here at Daryl's Wood-Fired Grill here in Greensboro. Kendrick Fruit, Stephen Whitenhouse. We got a lot of guests here. We got some sponsor spotlights later today as well. Just going to be an exciting day, Stephen, and really thrilled to finally kick this one off.
Yeah, this has been planned for quite some time now. We are super thankful for Daryl's to be able to host this tonight. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a really cool show. We're going to do a couple of these this spring, and then we're going to really kick it up, once we get to the fall. But super thankful for a lot of people behind the scenes. Rob Hebner, as you'll see here later today, was a big part of this, as well as Jerry Fisk, athletic director. So, Kendrick, this is going to be fun. Let's get it started.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think no better way to start it than talk a little bit about what's been going on here at Greensboro College in the last little bit. And I think you start with what we saw this weekend. Obviously, I think you look at baseball on the road at Pfeiffer, taking 2 out of 3, and obviously Trevor Testerman just winning the USA South Offensive Player of the Week. Hit 4 home runs in a game in Game 1 of the doubleheader against the Falcons on Saturday, which not only set a Greensboro College record, but it set a USA South record as well.
Yeah, Trevor, it was unbelievable, and we were, or at least me, I was lucky enough to be there. So it was a road contest at Pfeiffer, and Trevor just completely went off. I mean, after a game where they struggled on Friday, they come back on Saturday, Game 1. Trevor hits 4 home runs, knocks in 10 runs. Again, sets
which is also a record.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a program record. The 4 home runs is a program and USA South record. It also ties the Division III record. So a huge day for Trevor Testerman, but also the baseball team. I mean, you take a second straight series, conference series, that is. And so you're 4-2, tied at the top of the USA South here early on.
And, one of the things that you and I have talked about this year is just how wide open things look as far as the top of the standings. You're sitting 4-2. You're tied at the top. Tiebreaker goes to Greensboro right now. But, again, with a little bit over a month left in the season, wide open.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about this with, a few different people. But I think multiple sports. You look at softball, lacrosse, and baseball. The conferences are really wide open. And so, with baseball getting off to the start that they've gotten off to, 4-2 this spring, again, they're tied atop the conference, but they also have the tiebreaker with Pfeiffer because of that series win. It's a really successful start. They'll have a big one coming up this weekend against William Peace, and then in 2 weeks, they'll actually host Methodist, which is a massive regular season series.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and keep swinging around the spring sports. Take a look at softball. 2 tough losses on the road against number 15, Christopher Newport, on Friday, 10-9, 6-7. But, one of the things, obviously, we'll talk about Jordan Tong winning Player of the Week for softball. But, I think one of the things for me, with all the turnover from last year to this year, the fact that you can go on the road to a top 25 team and play them as close as you did, and quite frankly had a chance to win both of those games too, I think it speaks a lot to the makeup of this team, even if you don't get the results you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that has really picked up is the offense for softball. And they swept Guilford. They came from behind in that second game. And then against Christopher Newport, they actually came behind in both games, including the first game. They were down 8-4 in the 7th inning. They come back with 5 runs, including a Jordan Tong grand slam. And then the second game, they also had to come back late in that game as well. So, unfortunately, they lost. But I think there was a lot of positives that came out of that. You're on the road against the 15th-ranked team in the country in Christopher Newport, and you come out and show them that you can play with them. And so I think, Coach Strickland and the coaching staff have to feel really good that the bats have woken up. The pitching's been excellent all year, and they know now, I think, especially after these last couple series, that they can play with anybody. I mean, it doesn't matter who they play. They play some tough teams already. Randolph-Macon, they played not long ago, who was, ranked in the top 25. So they know that they can play with anybody, and now that the bats are starting to wake up, I think they're in a really good spot.
Absolutely. It was a tough weekend for men's and women's lacrosse, both falling on the road at Pfeiffer, but let's not talk about that specifically. Let's kind of broaden it a little bit for men's and women's lacrosse here. Coach Nate Bates has the men's team off to one of their best starts in recent memory. Women's lacrosse, a scrappy team, maybe not where you want to see them in terms of wins and losses, but certainly a team that can catch you on a bad day and come away with the win. We saw what they did against Brevard the other day, and I still think there's a lot of offensive firepower in that team that we haven't even really seen them scratch the surface of what they're capable of. First time in a long time that both lacrosse teams, there's stuff to be excited about.
Yeah, I mean, you look at men's lacrosse, only 2 losses. Their second one just came on Saturday and a tough one at Pfeiffer. But, I mean, this team has gelled so well. Coach Nate Bates did an outstanding job of recruiting, this past offseason. They got some key transfers at the break. And so you've got guys like Seth Woods, who already has over 40 goals. And Justin Berry and Alex Mattoon are not far behind. So it's been an incredible offensive output for the men's lacrosse team this year. And then you look at Braden Mitchell. I mean, this guy is one of the best in the conference in terms of, goalies, come. And, he has been such a huge asset, not only on the field but off the field too, as a leader. And so men's lacrosse is in a fabulous position. They're going to be right there come tournament time with teams like Pfeiffer, Piedmont, Methodist, and SVU, competing for the conference crown. Women's lacrosse, we've talked about this a little bit kind of in our pregame shows for lacrosse. They're a little bit low on numbers, but it's been so cool to see them work together. We've seen new players such as Marlo Coos, who's had an outstanding season in her first year of lacrosse. And also, we've seen a lot of flashes from the goalies as well. You talk about Aaliyah Akers, DK, Carly Walton. They've been good in goal. And so they're going to have a tough one this weekend against Piedmont. But I think down the stretch, I think you're going to have a lot of opportunity to make some progress.
A lot of opportunity to make some progress. A lot of things to be excited about. A lot of stuff to be excited to hear about tonight. We've got a good show this evening. Want to give a couple of shout-outs to some of our sponsors. Our sponsor spotlight tonight is going to be Finn Dentistry, and we look forward to hearing about that practice from Dr. Nick Bean here in a little bit. Also want to give a shout-out to Midtown Body Repair, a family-owned business celebrating 50 years in operation. We hope to have the store owner, Dennis, and his sons, Travis and Clint Reitinger, here soon for a sponsor spotlight. They're located, by the way, at 401 West Gate Street Boulevard here in Greensboro. Also, two new sponsors that we're proud to announce, which were signed earlier today, Triad Eye Associates and Town Bank. And then, of course, our existing sponsors, a big thank you and shout-out to Hotel Denim, Country Barbecue, Strength and Body, and BSN Sports, also known as Under Armour. And obviously, we have to say a special thank you again to our new host venue and sponsor, Daryl's Wood-Fired Grill here. Just a fantastic atmosphere. It smells amazing in here right now. Just a really awesome place to have an event, so a big thank you to Daryl's. We got a lot of fun stuff here coming up. When we come back, we're going to hear from head coach Michael McDuffie of men's basketball, talk a little bit about his thoughts of his first year as head coach, his vision going forward, and then we're going to hear from first team All-USA South, DJ Jackson. This is going to be a fun segment. Men's basketball recap coming up next on the Greensboro College Sports Network. This is Greensboro College Athletics Live. And we welcome you back to Greensboro College Athletics Live here on the Greensboro College Sports Network. We are again at Daryl's Wood-Fired Grill here in Greensboro. Just a fantastic time being had by all here, and we're going to have an even better time now as we're joined by head coach of the men's basketball team, Michael McDuffie. Coach, first off, first full year in the books. How about just from a personal standpoint, kind of your thoughts on how it went for you?
Up and down year. Obviously, anybody that comes into a new situation, new program, new year, you kind of have an idea of how you want things to go. You have a plan in place, but we had a lot of things derailed, so we had to kind of alter a lot of things throughout the course of the season. Obviously, injuries played a part in that. Had various guys step up in different roles, some expected, some unexpected. But overall, I was pleased with the growth that we showed throughout the year. And hopefully we can press forward going into next season.
By the way, for anybody watching on the YouTube live stream, use the chat feature. If you have any questions for Coach McDuffie or Coach Aaron Fernandez a little bit later on in the show, if we've got time to get to some of your questions, we most certainly will. Coach, just kind of talk to me about the growth you saw from this team from the beginning of the year to where they ended the season.
Well, had a host of new guys coming in, and obviously for any new coach, the concern is always guys gelling, guys getting along. How are they going to receive one another? I thought our guys did an excellent job of that. I tell people you would think that they've been together 4 or 5 years, so that was kind of half the battle. I thought they did an excellent job with that. But from a basketball standpoint, obviously, again, the injuries derailed, but guys kept pressing forward, and I felt like we hit our stride a little bit coming around conference time. Our young guys, freshmen, had to step up in various roles. Our upperclassmen, they were fantastic for us. So just from the beginning of the season, obviously there were a lot of lessons in the close games that we had and some losses, but I think we grew from it. So,
absolutely, Coach. I think, we were really impressed with kind of the turnaround, not just from on the court, but also, just culture. And I think, we've talked a lot off camera just about kind of how you want to build this program. Tell us just a little bit what your vision is for this program. I mean, I'm sure in year one it was kind of hectic with, being you've been a coach for plenty of years, but first season as the full-time head coach here, trying to establish a lot of things. Tell us a little bit about your vision for the program.
Well, first and foremost, having the right people around. I think that's very important in how we kind of move and operate on a day-to-day basis. And the biggest thing for me was, how are we going to navigate not only on the floor but off the floor? Things like going to class, how we conduct ourselves socially. I think for me, when I came back 3 years ago as an assistant, at the high school level and the AAU level, you kind of hear the chatter when it came to Greensboro College and the men's basketball program. So my biggest thing more than anything was how can I change that perception and change the narrative that we had back then. So for me, it's getting guys to understand that. Let's face it, culture is an everyday thing, and you got to continue to fight for it. So it's just getting the right people, the right players, coaches, staff members around that are going to embody that and kind of express that day to day.
So what is the next step then as far as your building blocks for going forward from this year?
Well, obviously recruiting. Again, recruiting, that's kind of the centerpiece in all of this. And then obviously with our current guys, just kind of continue to have those conversations, making sure they're doing what they need to do in the classroom, but also making sure that they're keeping themselves up. I tell them all the time, we don't want to prepare for November in November. We want to prepare right now. So that's kind of been our big focus. And I tell them all the time how we walk and do things, it has to be at an elite level. If you wouldn't go to Duke University and do it with John Shire, what makes you think it's going to be okay at Greensboro College with Coach McDuffie? So that's the mentality. This is our Duke. This is our Carolina. And we want to be elite and be amongst those conversations with those teams that's there every year.
I want to make a Duke joke just because you're such a big fan, but I'm not going to.
Sweet 16, baby.
Anything here tonight.
Sweet 16. Coach, I wanted to ask you, one of the unique parts about you being here is that you're an alum.
Yep.
And I want to just know, from you personally, what does that mean for you? Because you've been an assistant here for a while. You've had, a good amount of years as an assistant here. But now you're leading the program, that you were here for and graduated, from here. So what does it mean to you personally to lead the program that, you played for?
It's special. It means a lot. A lot of the things that I preach to the guys are my own personal experiences. I've been on very good teams. I've been on teams that should have been good but underachieved. So I know kind of what it's like from a student-athlete perspective on, what's worked here, what hasn't, and what we need to do to be successful. So a lot of what I preach to the guys is, what I've been through, what I've seen, and just to kind of pour into them. So I want them to kind of surpass what I did when I played. So it's not just another job. I want to get us over the hump and do more than what I did.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that as far as wanting guys to surpass what you did. And I'm not going to have the numbers quite right, so I'm just going to be a little rough with it. But DJ Jackson over there played a lot of minutes this year, and that was something that was part of your game. You played a lot of minutes as well. So by him, minutes per game on a single season bumped you down to 10th. Do you make sure next year nobody plays more minutes than you did?
We got to do what's going to get us over the hump. But DJ was excellent for us. I've kind of seen his growth and progression from the time he got here as a freshman, from a kid that was doing scout team duties to leading the conference and scoring. And you don't see that often, but he never complained. He kept his head down. He worked. That's why he had the season that he had, and he'll continue to do great things going into next year also.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, one of the things kind of leaning into that, of course, we'll have DJ join us in just a second, but we'll kind of lead into that interview with this. What did you see from DJ in particular? Being a first-team all-conference player, scoring over 18 points a game, but he was also huge when it comes to rebounding, distributing the basketball. Just kind of give us a little bit of a inside look as to who DJ Jackson is, and a little more detail as what you were just talking about, how he has progressed from year one to now. Just give us a little bit of inside scoop on how that's happened.
Yeah, I think it's DJ's ability to think the game. DJ's one of those players I can throw him at the 5, and he knows what that 5 position is supposed to do. And I think that attributes to what he did his freshman year. A lot of kids, you go into a scout team situation and you sulk and you complain. He did it. He never complained, but I think that it helped him as he moved on in his career, knowing what other teams are doing. How do we kind of dissect things? So I can put him at any position, and he knows what to do, what not to do. He knows what everybody else on the floor is supposed to do. So just his ability to think the game, and I think the game slows down for him a bit. Thus why he had the season that he had. He picked his spots very well. And I think late in the conference, I thought he did a good job of shooting the ball as well. He doesn't take a ton of them. It's not like he can't shoot it. But I was proud of him for kind of stepping up and adding that facet of his game to make him even harder to guard. So.
For sure.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time, and we're going to go ahead and grab DJ here. And one of the things we've yet to work out is the transitions to some of these, so this may be a little sloppy, but thank you so much again. And now we're going to talk to DJ Jackson. Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you, Coach. Yep. Well, we'll get DJ up here. We'll kind of tee him up. I mean, it's been so cool because I've been able to be here, and you were as well. Kind of that first year, a little bit before you got brought on full time. You were able to see the maturation of this guy right here, DJ Jackson. Got to play a little bit his freshman year, got to play a little bit more in that sophomore year, and then this year you just explode. So, DJ, thank you first of all for joining us. DJ, tell us a little bit about your season, man. I mean, we talked with Coach McDuffie, obviously. What do you attribute your growth to? I mean, from year 1 to year 3, it's just been constant growth, constant development. You've gotten better and better and better at all parts of your game. So what do you attribute that to?
Like you said, like Coach said, kind of up and down season. Not like how we wanted to go this year, but for me personally, just stepping up. I know I had a lot of big shoes to fill because Isaiah Pruitt was our leading scorer last year. So I know I had to take that step into being our leader, being our I wouldn't say just like being our I guess you could say primary scorer.
For sure.
So
if you don't say it, I will.
You can say that. So and then just like working my tail off in the summer, I could do that a little bit more, like when the season went on. But just that, like coming in the season confident and like in our team and myself and coach, and that's how I go about things.
DJ, there was a time before your season started, I saw you in the gym, and I asked you what were you excited about for this year, and you said one of the things that Coach McDuffie's offense that got you excited about it was the fact that there was the potential for anybody on the floor to be the big scorer or to be the focal point. You could spread the offense out. You weren't going to key on one guy here or one guy there. Now that you put the season in the rearview mirror, tell me again, was it what you hoped it was going to be offensively, just the fact that all of you guys playing together, anybody could be the guy on a given night?
Yeah, I think, like you said, anybody could be the lead scorer. I mean, it was some nights I think it was like one game I had like 5 points, and then Will or – you say Najee or who else? J-Rock stepped up. So I mean, I'm not always gonna be that big guy in games. So just having that on my having that around me, it's pretty good. It takes a lot of weight off my shoulders, if I can say so. Yeah.
How cool was it to be named first team all conference this year?
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I felt like that I earned it. So. It was pretty nice to get that.
DJ, looking kind of to the future, obviously you've got your senior year coming up next year. What are you looking forward to in that senior year? We talked with Coach McDuffie. Recruiting is going to be the key again. Just as it was, or it is every year. But you guys brought in a lot of talent this past year. What are you looking forward to that senior year? Maybe what are some goals for you? Because obviously now you've been a first team all conference player. You've essentially led the league in scoring after the tournament, games. You were, at the top of the list. So what are you looking forward to, and what are your goals your senior year?
Team-wise, like he said, new recruiters coming in. They gotta learn how to play with us. We gotta learn how to play with them. They gotta learn the culture, and I think us returners will like do a good job of like teaching them that. So, and then as the returners, we kind of got used to playing with each other like this past season. So, I feel like the chemistry will be a lot better next year. And then for me personally, just continue to do what I do and like listen to him, listen to everybody, listen to my teammates, and just maybe I could score a little bit more.
There you go. Let's get up to 20 instead of 18.
I saw that side eye to the hey coach, let me score a little bit more.
Give me the ball.
I can score a little bit more, shoot a little bit more. Yeah, hopefully he'll let me do that. So
Yeah, he will for sure.
Well, hey DJ, thank you so much for coming by, and we appreciate you. We can't wait to see what you guys do next year.
Thank you.
All right, well, this is first team all-conference DJ Jackson. We're going to step aside. When we come back, our Director of Athletic Development, Robert Hevner, will be on. We'll talk a little bit about Give for GC Day, as well as our sponsor spotlight of today as well, Finn Dentistry. That's all coming up as Greensboro College Athletics Lives continues on the Greensboro College Sports Network. All right, continuing on here on Greensboro College Athletics Live. Time now to introduce a couple really important figures. Our Director of Athletic Development, Rob Hevner, our Athletic Director, Jerry Fisk. Thank you guys for everything you do and your support of Greensboro College Athletics and letting us come be fools for an hour here on a Monday night. So thank you for that. But look, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to you guys. Talk a little bit about Give for GC Day, and then we'll have our sponsor spotlight after that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kendrick. Thanks, Stephen. What a wonderful venue. What a wonderful event. Glad we're kicking this off, and you guys have done a great job, heroic job, get this thing cooking. So we're going to, at this time, let our athletic director, Jerry Fisk, talk a little bit about our annual Giving Day.
Yeah, appreciate it. I would echo what Rob said. Great job, guys. Excited for the rest of this show and the shows to come. The Greensboro College Give for GC Day is April 8th this year. That's a day that we raise funds to support all of our teams, the department, campus as a whole, and there's a lot of work being done behind the scenes right now. So that all of our coaches and all of our teams are determining what they will be best served by raising money towards. Maybe Coach McDuffie wants a new shooting machine, or maybe he needs some other tool for the gym so that the guys can use it. We're going to communicate that out so that the alums and others that care about the program know what we're raising money for. And then we're going to have a friendly competition within the athletic department on April 8th. Who can raise the most dollars? Who can get the highest number of alumni to give? And work through those kind of things. We've gotten a tremendous amount of support from Julie Schatz in the alumni office. She's a great partner. She's put together a lot of collateral for us and a lot of the nice pieces that you'll see online. And she's just a great partner with it. So. Yeah, our goal this year is to raise more dollars and more donors than we did last year. And one of the great things about it is everything that is raised for each of the teams stays within that team. So if men's basketball raises $2,500, that's all staying with men's basketball to support their mission and their vision and what they're trying to accomplish. So really excited about that.
And the donor can designate that when they're making their gift.
Absolutely, yeah. Whether you want to give to the General Pride Club, whether you want to give to a certain team, whether you want to support athletic training because they were a pivotal part of your experience when you were here, you can choose any of those things and support it.
Obviously, April 8th is that day, but that doesn't mean as a donor that you only have to give on that day.
Correct.
We can reach out to you and please be receptive of our calls.
Yeah. Rob, you've done a great job since you've come on board in trying to engage alumni and engage all of our corporate partners that you're developing. And I know we'll hear from one here relatively soon.
Right.
But it's all pointed the right direction. Not to scoop too much of what's coming, but there's a lot of teams on campus that are really excited that we're getting a new turf field this summer. And what a huge deal that is for our outdoor sports teams. And that wouldn't be done without the support of administration, whether it's Vice President Randy Doss or Dr. Zarda or the cabinet. Them making that happen is really a huge asset for us. And now that we see campus investing in athletics the way that it is, they just did the pool in the fall. Our pool was not in great shape, and now our pool is beautiful. That'll be a coup for the swim team and the tri team and some of the others. And now we're doing it with the field sports, with Pride Field, and working through some of the design when it comes to the press box and bleachers and things like that. Anytime you're doing a big capital project like that, it never goes perfectly smoothly. So we're working through those things, but we've got a lot of support from campus, and we're doing. I think the face of Greensboro College athletics is changing over the course of the last year and a half.
100%. A lot of excitement around re-imaging of Pride Field, and as I'm out in the community discussing that with alum corporate partnerships, this is really a huge asset that will be a great enhancement to the campus and to the athletic program as a whole.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, well, thank you so much, Jerry. And now we're going to continue on with our sponsor spotlight today. And, Rob, you said we're calling an audible here, but we're still excited about it.
100%. We are bringing up our wonderful hostess and support, Denise from Daryl's here, Daryl's Wood-Fired Grill here off of Gate City Boulevard. Denise, you step up and we're going to ask you a few questions. Which way you want me? Oh, gotcha. Denise, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Hey, this is fantastic. What a pivot. She has been wonderful. Her staff has been wonderful. I see Paula over there, who's been great to work with. Dylan, the whole crew. Melissa, thank you for letting us come in. Monday night, I thought, hey, we can get Daryl's on a Monday night. It's not going to be too bad in here. This place is freaking slam packed. It's incredible.
We had to show out for you. We had to show out. Hey,
tell us a little bit about this beautiful venue, especially this room. This was, as I walked around with Dylan that day and kind of looked at different locations, we chose this room. This is such a cool place.
Okay. So Daryl's is a large 2-story restaurant. Each room has its own theme. We're in what we call the street art, and that's where you guys see all the graffiti. If you can check that out behind me. It's actually on our ceiling, on our tables, chairs, things like that. We have a jail area. We have the antique radio. We have an elevator, carousel. We even have a theater room downstairs where we hold a lot of private parties. We have a covered patio that has a bar where we serve our adult beverages and things like that. Pretty large restaurant, pretty cool.
It's been here since what, like the mid-'70s or something?
Yeah,
I remember coming here. I can't say because then people would know how old I am.
We
but
won't tell all
it was
about
a
that.
while ago. I think the decade started with an 8. But and crazy. I love this place. Please come out and support Daryl's Wood-Fired Grill. Tell me again the actual addresses. I know it's Gate City Boulevard. We're
3300 West Gate City Boulevard.
Okay. Monday through Sunday hours?
So we open at 11:30 Monday through Friday. Saturdays and Sundays we open at 12. We're closed at 9 Sunday through Thursday, but Fridays and Saturdays we're open till 11. Just another thing to let you guys know, we're a large restaurant, so we do hold large parties, wedding rehearsals, baby showers, birthday parties. We do large party reservations, or you guys are more than welcome just to walk on in, see our host, and we can get you guys sat.
Absolutely. This is just a beautiful place, and I will pitch one thing. Sure. I had lunch here with the assistant athletic director, Karen Buxton, and I don't tell anybody, but I had a lasagna for lunch. I know it was a lot, but my understanding is the chef or the cook's been cooking that for over like 20 years. Same recipe, same chef.
Yeah, we have 2 that have been here for over 20 years. We have one that's been here knocking on 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful venue, great place. Please come out and visit us. Thank you again for Daryl's Wood-Fired Grill
great. We
being a
appreciate
proud
it.
supporter of Greensboro College Athletics.
All right,
Thank you.
I'd like to piggyback really quickly. So just for anybody who's watching or saying, hey, I want to come out here. First time person, what is the first thing they got to order when they're here? If somebody's coming here for the first time.
We got to order some beef ribs.
Okay.
We got to have some beef ribs. Beef ribs
That's what
all
he said.
day. If you want pork, you can do the pork ones, but I would say beef. Beef.
Well, that sounds good. You're making me hungry already. Thank you so much for stopping
right.
by,
Yes,
and Rob
thank you,
will
guys.
talk to you here in a little bit for
Thank
some
you,
trivia
Denise.
later on in the show.
Absolutely. Look forward to it, guys.
All right, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to hear from women's basketball coach Aaron Fernandez as Greensboro College Athletics Live continues. College athlete has a story to tell, and at Greensboro College, we believe no one is better equipped to tell those stories than the athletes themselves. On the Getting to Know podcast, you'll hear the who, what, when, where, why, and how of each college athlete's journey to Greensboro and how they became a member of the Pride. We talk on and off the field, influences, hobbies, goals, and what it means to be a member of the Pride. It's all on the Getting to Know podcast on Spotify and YouTube.
You know, I just really felt like I was a person, you know, and they really cared about you, not only as like an athlete, but, you know, as an individual as well. And so that was one of the things that like led me here, honestly.
The Getting to Know podcast from Greensboro College Athletics. We are one Pride, and these are our stories.
All right.
We are halfway through the inaugural Greensboro College Athletics Live. We're having a great time here at Daryl's Wood-Fired Grill. So glad you could join us either in person or via the Greensboro College Athletics YouTube channel. So again, thank you to everybody, and thank you to Aaron Fernandez, women's basketball coach, joining us now. And Coach, obviously everybody has seen your new style of play, your run and gun, if you will,
Sure.
after your first or second year here, but the first year kind of getting to implement what you wanted to run here. And so I think my first question, we've all seen it now. Where did it come from? Like, what is the inspiration for that? Just kind of give us a little backstory.
Yeah, I mean, if you grew up in maybe the late 80s and 90s, watching Loyola Marymount run and gun, a little bit of inspiration there. I will say it's kind of funny. I coached a high school all-star game when I was a high school coach, and we, no one plays defense in those games, but we just decided we were going to try to score the most points of in the game's history, and we ended up scoring like 100. It was like 139 to 133. And I was like, that's really fun. And all we did was spread the floor, press. They asked us not to press. We pressed anyway. We just turned it up, and it was like our kids were just having fun. And so I always thought that was a really interesting way to play. And there's some other teams around the nation. We're not the only team that plays this way, but I just started studying those other teams and just realized just such a fun way to play. And I think especially at the Division III level, when we had 10 players 14 players average 10 minutes or more. When you're playing that fast, you get more opportunities for more people to play. So I just think when you take all those things into consideration, how fun it is to play, how many opportunities you're giving people to play, I just think it's, in my opinion, the best way to play basketball. So.
Well, before Steven asks his next question, which I know he was itching to do, just a reminder, if you have a question for Coach Fern, you can submit it on the chat feature on the YouTube channel. If we've got some time, we'd love to hear your thoughts and questions for Coach Fern. All right, Steven, I won't keep you in suspense anymore.
Yeah, so, kind of piggybacking off of the style, we kind of get into, Kendrick mentioned it was kind of your first year from a recruiting standpoint and getting to implement that style. So now that you've had a full year to at least start implementing what you want to do, what's your mindset, and how are you recruiting? How are you selling that play style? Here coming up, you've got tournaments here coming up, in the spring with these AAU tournaments, these showcase tournaments. What are you doing when it comes to selling that program? But also, kind of like we mentioned with Coach McDuffie, ultimately, so it's a two-part question. The second part is, what is your vision for the program?
Yeah. Yeah, well, one thing we always talk about is we want to play fast, free, and aggressive. That's kind of our mantra.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So we want to play fast, free, aggressive. So I think anytime you talk to recruits, whether it's high school or their transfers or whatever, and I always ask, what kind of playing style are you looking for? And I would say 99.9% of the time, players are saying, I want to play fast. I want to play aggressive. Like pressure defense. We want to shoot the three.
Yeah.
And we do all those things, right? We attempted. Now we got to be a little more efficient, but we attempted the most threes in the nation of any team, Division 1, 2, or 3. We were top 5 in steals and turnovers for, so we're really aggressive. I think we had like the highest press rate in the country. So, we do all those things that players say that they want to be a part of anyway. And then it's about selling the vision. We do a little different stuff with our substitution patterns. If anyone's seen us play, we generally are kind of 5 in, 5 out, just trying to keep fresh legs on the floor. And the way that I sell it, it's a lot of opportunity. So for a lot of freshmen especially, and sometimes you'll see this in the transfer situation, right? They're seeking for freshmen, they're seeking an opportunity because it's really hard for freshmen to break through early. Or if you're a transfer, usually maybe you're not getting the minutes that you quite want. You feel like you're working really hard. You can come here, and there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of people. You also saw Lindsay Redmond this year on our team who started the year only getting a minute here, 2 minutes here. And then those minutes she got, she did really well. And then all of a sudden she's starting games where she's averaging like 17 to 20 minutes a night sometimes. She goes somewhere else. Maybe she doesn't get that opportunity. So I always tell people, if you're looking for a new opportunity or a chance to get on the floor early, this is your place. You got to earn it, right? I'm not going to give you anything, but you come in and you do your work, you're going to earn that. And so vision, again, we make no bones about we want to be the highest scoring team in the country. I think we do that by continuing to be top 5 in the nation in steals and turnovers for us, playing a lot of players, shooting a lot of threes. I'd say we were about 25% probably of what we wanted to do this year. You saw us play some zone out of necessity at times. I never want to do that. I want it to be like ping pong. That's what I always tell recruits too, is when you watch us play, I want it to feel like you're watching ping pong. And so we got to continue to add more depth. We got to continue to add players who can operate in the pressing system, who really enjoy playing fast, who can shoot the three and all those things. But, we're really excited. We were one of the second youngest team in the league this year, so we have a lot of pieces coming back. And I'm really excited to see how far we can take this thing.
Absolutely. One of the things that, unfortunately, injuries happen,
Sure.
right? We had, a couple of key players go down fairly early in the year this year. How excited, though, are you that, you get those players back, plus the returners that you saw grow throughout the year who did get to play all season, on top of the recruits that you'll bring in? How excited do you get when you start to think about the potential of this team? Because, look,
it's like getting Carly Effler, for example. It's
Sure.
like getting a brand new player. You only
Yeah.
saw her a handful of games this year. So
our 2 leading scorers this year were freshmen, right? And so they're both coming back next year. Carly Effler, who you mentioned, she hates when I bring this up because she's actually a very humble person, but she scored 3,000 points in her high school career, which is an insane amount of points.
3,000 more than Steven.
Yeah,
That's right.
3,000 more than Steven. Probably about 2,999
JV
more than
has scored
me.
a few.
Okay.
And so, she's a tremendous basketball player who we only had for a few games. Caroline Kelly, who Greensboro people will know. She was a point guard on a state championship runner-up team, the heart and soul of her team. Comes here, and we expected her to be a big contributor for us. And she didn't get to play in a game this year, right? Because she had an injury before the season even started. So we had some really key pieces that didn't even really get to see the floor that much that will also be back, on top of where we're starting recruiting for this next year is at a higher level than where we started last year, right? And so there's a lot of excitement around what we're doing. There's a lot of interest. We have people who reach out to us specifically because of our style, because they saw, you all shoot a lot of threes. You guys are top 5 in steals and turnovers. I like to prep. We have people specifically seeking out us because we are unique in what we do. And they can go anywhere in the country and play regular kind of basketball. But they're interested in Greensboro College because of the way we play. And so that's also a really cool spot to be in. That just really sets us apart from other teams.
So what does next year look like as far as continuing to build and continuing the process? What is the next step then?
Yeah, there's a couple of things we want to build on. Obviously, we mentioned we're going to shoot a lot of threes. We got to be more efficient there, right? And so sometimes when you have a young team, learning what's a good shot and what's not is hard. Learning how to play fast offensively is hard. Again, I think we defensively, as the year went on, Again, we don't look at points per game. We look at points per possession and turnover rates and all those advanced metrics. But defensively, we were pretty good, and we'll continue to add depth there. But then some of that offensively will help our defense as well. But yeah, we got to be better offensively. We would love to be. I mean, you saw it this year. We had some games in the hundreds. We had 90s and 80s, and then we had one that we upset a team and we won 55-51, one of the better teams in our league. And I was happy, but I was also like, 55-51. I mean, that should be a halftime score for us. That's our goal, right? And so, yeah, we would love to be just more consistent on the offensive end. We'd love to be the highest scoring team in the country at some point. And we want to continue to, again, shoot a lot of threes and press the entire game. And hopefully you won't have to see us fall back into a zone much at all next year. So,
tell us a little bit about, now that you're in prime recruiting season, opportunity here to tell the world.
Sure.
Not just on the floor, but off the floor. What kind of kid are you looking for?
Yeah. Well, we want high-quality character kids, obviously, and every coach will say that, and it's true. I mean, that really is the backbone of your program, is having kids that you don't have to worry about necessarily off the court. You're there to support them and all that, but you don't have to worry about them. For our returners coming back next year, we have a 3.6 currently, a 3.6 GPA for our returners, which is tremendous. So we obviously want kids that take care of their business in the classroom as well. But I always say there's three things you have to do to be good in this system. If you can do all three, you're going to get tons of minutes. If you can do one of the three, you're going to have a role. And you got to be good in the press. Doesn't mean you have to be the fastest, but you got to have that mentality to play in the press. You got to be able to shoot the three, and then you got to be a playmaker with the ball in your hands, because we don't run a lot of set plays. Sometimes that helps. Sometimes maybe that's part of our offensive woes at times. But you got to be a playmaker with the ball in your hands. If you can do one of those three things, you'll get minutes. If you can do all three, you're going to get a lot of minutes for us. And so that's kind of what we're looking for on the recruiting trail. Starts with the character piece. Obviously, got to be good academically. I have my own academic threshold that I'm looking for, where I don't recruit under that. And then the last piece comes the basketball. Can you do one of those three things for us?
Well, Coach, I know you've already hit the recruiting trail full speed ahead, and we can't wait to see what kind of pieces you add and how your returners continue to grow this year, or next year, rather. As we wrap things up, just real quick, rapid fire, who's winning the NCAA tournament this year?
Yeah, great question. Well, Duke's going to win on the men's side.
Okay. Thank you.
So that one's easy. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm actually not even a Duke fan. I call it like I see it. I think Duke's going to win on the men's side.
I knew you were my favorite coach for some reason.
And then on the women's side, I mean, how can you bet against Dawn Staley, right? I mean, I'll go with South Carolina on the women's side. So.
Well, here's what I'm going to do real quick, because I didn't ask Coach McDuffie, so I'm just going to ask him off camera. Coach, who's winning? Is he right? Houston. Okay. All right. Okay, all right. So you agree with you on one of the two. But, hey, thank you so much for hanging out with us, Coach, and we wish you the best of luck in your recruiting process. And
appreciate it.
I'm sure we'll be breaking it all down again come the fall. So we're going to step aside, but Greensboro College Athletics Live continues when we come back. We're going to have a little bit of fun, because why not? We've got some trivia coming up. Rob Hebner, Jerry Fisk, we've got some trivia. Test your knowledge when we come back on the Greensboro College Sports Network.
All right, welcome back here on the stream. So it is trivia time, Rob. This is all you. We've got two special guests, so you can introduce them, and then we'll get it started.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Stephen. Just want to kick this off. This is going to be fun. We just want to have a little quick trivia game. If you attend here live, you're going to pull you up from the audience, put you on the spot. We've got a Greensboro alum and guest, Tommy Lanier. Tommy, appreciate you stepping in and playing. Good luck. This is going to be we're going to test our athletic director, Jerry Fisk. He tells me he's Mr. Sports, so he's all-knowing. And we're going to just run down. I'm going to ask the questions. There's 10 questions. Some are multiple choice. Some are true, false, answer, names, all that good stuff. Just you're going to write the answer on your sheet, and Kendrick is going to grade them, and we'll see who wins. And you're playing for a Greensboro College Athletics T-shirt. Good luck, and play along if you're watching and listening on the stream. Okay, time. We're going to play. It should be about 3 minutes. All right. The clock will start after I read the first question. Which NBA team moved to Oklahoma City to become the Thunder in the 2008-2009 season? Charlotte Hornets, Vancouver Grizzlies, Seattle Supersonics, or the Kansas City Kings? Second question. Which trophy is awarded to the winner of the World Series baseball? October Classic Trophy, Connie Mack Trophy, Ruth Trophy, Commissioner's Trophy. Third question. Which kick returner became the first special teams player to ever be named Super Bowl MVP? Devin Hester, Brian Mitchell, Desmond Howard, Deion Sanders. Fourth question. What Detroit Red Wings mascot is a prop that hangs from the arena rafters during the Stanley Cup playoff games and also is thrown on the ice? Red Winger, Al the Octopus, Nordy. Fifth question. All right, listen to this question carefully. Which college basketball team has the most first-round men's NBA draft picks? UNC, Kentucky, Duke, Kansas, UCLA.
Get it right, Jerry.
All right. Good luck. All right. How many World Series home runs did Willie Mays hit? If you want a hint, I'll give you a hint. He played in 20, I believe he played in 20 World Series games. That helps you. He's one of the greats. Okay. What collegiate NCAA D1 is awarded the Wade Trophy? The Wade Trophy. Everybody good? Good. What collegiate NCAA D1 athlete is awarded the Wade Trophy? All right. What college team did Roger Staubach quarterback when he won the Heisman in 1963? Roll Tide, Alabama, Texas, Navy, Notre Dame. You good? Move on. What school won the first Rose Bowl? Cal, California, Stanford, Michigan. Last question. Of course, I had to have a golf question. Which LPGA player has 4 runner-up finishes in the U.S. Women's Open but has never won it? Nancy Lopez, Patty Sheehan, Beth Daniel, or Annika Storestam? All right. Are we complete? The damage has been done. Totals are ready. All right. Number 1 questions. Anybody know the answer? Charlotte Hornets, Vancouver, Seattle, or Kansas City? It was Seattle Supersonics, established in 1967. They won an NBA championship in 79, and they moved in yeah. Got it. Okay. Which trophy, World Series, baseball, October Classic, Connie Mack, Ruth, Commissioners? How'd we do? What'd y'all put? Commissioners? Commissioners Trophy is correct. It's awarded since 1967. St. Louis Cardinals got the first one. This one is very close to my heart. I was a little concerned about this one, but he did a great job, so I think it was worth the pick. Who won the MVP? Does everybody know? Desmond played for the Green Bay Packers, Super Bowl 31. Brett Favre had a good game, but Desmond had a great game. The Red Wings mascot, Al the Octopus. Did anybody get that one? Oh, that's good. I had no idea what that was. There's a little history there. Family owned a fish market. That was kind of cool. All right, the basketball one. I'm going to give you a couple ideas on this one. Who'd y'all pick?
I know Kentucky's had the most recently, but I picked UNC all the time.
Okay, who'd you pick? It is Kentucky. Kentucky has 60 first-round picks. Duke has the most. Hey, this isn't an indictment on UNC and their coaching lately. Duke has the most number 1 picks with 6 and second first-rounders. UNC has 54 first-round picks. UCLA 43, Kansas 36. How many World Series home runs did Willie Mays hit? They missed that one. He had 0. He had 660 regular season, but he had 0. Pretty crazy. He played, and I think he won 3 World Series titles with the New York Giants, San Francisco Giants, and the 73 Mets. Somebody can check me on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. The Wade Trophy, reason why I asked that one, Fern, do you know what the Wade Trophy is about? The Wade Trophy. The Wade Trophy, God, I didn't really need these. It's the most outstanding female basketball player. So Caitlin Clark got it in 23-24. Paige Buckers, yeah. Thought that what's her name? Beckers. Okay. What? Roger Staubach, quarterback. Navy, good. Yeah, absolutely. All right, first school, Rose Bowl, Cal, Stanford, Michigan. Which one? Cal. It was Michigan over Stanford, 49-0 in 1902. I could ask a second question to that, but we may not have time. Does anybody know? Does anybody? If we come to a tiebreaker, I got another question, but I'll do this.
There's no tiebreaker.
Okay, all right. What Where am I at? Yeah. What LPGA player was the runner-up 4 times? Has never won. Nancy Lopez is correct. Perfect. So tell me.
Your final score 7-4.
Whoa, Tommy, baby! Look at that! Tommy stepping up the game. Congratulations. And here is your beautiful Greensboro College Athletics shirt. Thank you, buddy. Great for playing. Thanks for coming. Thanks for supporting the program. Kendrick? You're all right. We good? Steven?
Yep. Appreciate you, Rob. We're going to take a quick break, and then we will wrap it up right here from Daryl's Wood-Fired Grill.
Thank you.
Well, welcome back into Greensboro College Athletics Live. Final segment of tonight's show. And again, thank you to everybody that helped make this possible. I think safe to say a very good trial run, if you will, a good debut here today. And certainly look forward to seeing where this thing goes. Part of looking to see where things go is to look and see where we've been, and we do that now with our alumni spotlight. And today we take a look at Alan Stallings, who of course was one of the greatest football players in the history of Greensboro College athletics, and now a championship crew member for Kyle Larson and Hendrick Motorsports, the number 5 team. And we had a chance to sit down and talk to him right before Christmas. And Stephen, I think one of the big things, the big takeaways that I took from that is never say no to an opportunity. He would have never thought that coming somewhere like Greensboro College would allow him to have the opportunity to go and do what he did in a field he never expected to be in.
Yeah, we'll run this little clip here for you about him talking a little bit about that. You can see the full interview on Instagram and, of course, on our YouTube page. But super cool story with Alan. We got to do that a few months ago. And you're right, Kendrick. I mean, it was such a cool example of you can go to a Greensboro College that is a Division III school and do huge things after you graduate. You don't have to go to some enormous school or a Division I school or whatever you may have. You can go to an unbelievable school like Greensboro and then take off and be a NASCAR champion. So it's pretty cool. So let's take a look here just really quick, give you a quick preview of that interview. But again, you can also see the full interview now on our Instagram page and on YouTube.
I grew up on the Outer Banks, Manio, North Carolina. So the path to Greensboro College was a little bit of an unbeaten path. The same thing here. Like, I had never watched a sport. I don't know anything about cars. Taking an opportunity that comes out of nowhere, and it might not be the vision that you had for yourself, but you could make a mark. I think the records were kind of just a byproduct of who I wanted to become as a man.
In crunch time here, final couple of minutes. So really quickly, Stephen, we take a look now at what's coming up for Greensboro College athletics. Obviously, we've got women's lacrosse coming up tomorrow. No, not tomorrow.
Wednesday.
What day? Wednesday. I don't know what day it is anymore. Wednesday. Baseball is going to be on the road at Lynchburg. And then you look ahead to this weekend, softball with two doubleheaders, two conference doubleheaders, one Saturday, one Sunday. Baseball, 3-game set against William Peace. It's a big opportunity for both bat and ball sports to start to pick up some ground. We mentioned baseball, part of that tie at the top of the conference. We said at the beginning of the show, softball still wide open as well. But you kind of get to this part of the schedule, you say this is the time to start making some ground up.
This is the beginning of the really fun part of the season for all of the sports. You mentioned softball. They're going to get conference play started this weekend with two massive series against NC Wesleyan and on Sunday against Methodist. It's really cool that they're playing well as of late because this is certainly the right time to get hot. You've got a tough NC Wesleyan team that split with Pfeiffer last weekend, another tough team in Methodist on Sunday. Good thing is they're both at home, and so hopefully you use that home field advantage to get a couple of big wins or series wins this weekend for softball. For baseball, another big every series is big, right? When you talk about conference play, but another series against William Peace this weekend. After a couple of series wins the last 2 weekends, back at home at Ted Leonard Park. It's going to be hopefully an electric atmosphere because, with baseball already playing a couple series, they're really getting right into the meat of that conference schedule. And so, we hope you guys come out to Ted Leonard Park this weekend. It's actually 3 days instead of, 1 day and then a doubleheader. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they'll be at Ted Leonard Park Friday and Saturday, both at 5 o'clock, Sunday at 2 o'clock. So hope you come out to baseball and, of course, Barber Park for softball this weekend as well. Men's lacrosse at home against Huntington.
Lacrosse doubleheader on Saturday, yeah.
Absolutely. Saturday, women's lacrosse home against Piedmont at 11 a.m. and then at 1:30, men's lacrosse hosts Huntington. Of course, those are conference games as well. So huge weekend here with home games for Greensboro College Athletics.
Absolutely. And as part of that, as far as a programming note is concerned, women's lacrosse against Pacific. Non-conference action on Wednesday. That's a 4 o'clock start. Our pregame show begins at 3:45. And then on Friday, baseball against William Peace. 5 o'clock first pitch. And again, our pregame show 15 minutes before. We'll have all the home action covered for you on the Greensboro College Sports Network. Stephen, that wraps up show number 1 of Greensboro College Athletics Live. And again, a big thank you to all of our guests today, Coach McDuffie, Coach Fernandez, DJ Jackson, Jerry Fisk, Rob Hevner, Denise from Daryl's. Again, a big shout-out to Daryl's. Thank you so much for the use of your venue, the fantastic food here, your service and hospitality. Very much appreciated, and we're very excited for this partnership. Stephen, any last thoughts as we're under a minute?
No, I think all the nerves are gone now, and I think we had a successful show today. This was really fun. It went by fast. That hour went by really quick. But trying to add to our athletics program. This is one of the goals for this show is to showcase our athletes and our coaches, our alums. People who work behind the scenes that maybe you don't always see. During a live stream of a game. This is a really cool opportunity, and we have to thank Rob Hevner for getting us this connection. Yeah, round of applause.
Absolutely.
And he's done an incredible job with sponsorships and making connections in the local community, and giving us the opportunity to be able to share all the cool things that are going on in Greensboro College athletics, because there's so much going on really all the time. And so now we have an outlet to really share what's going on, as opposed to, obviously, our pregame shows are great. Our live streams, we get to, say a little bit of a recap of some things that are going on. But I think the show allows us to really expand on what's going on in the athletics department, on the field, off the field. So, this is a great start to this show, and of course, we'll have many more.
Absolutely. Again, thank you to all of those who joined us on YouTube today. Thank you to everybody here in attendance. Again, our next broadcast will be Wednesday for women's lacrosse. Then we've got a full slate for the weekend. That'll wrap everything up. For Stephen Weidenhouse, I'm Kendrick Fruits. This has been the first edition of Greensboro College Athletics Live. We wish you a green and white good night on the Greensboro College Sports Network.